How much do we still not know about animals? I mean, what is that? Oh, actually, it's just an ant's head under a microscope. And I agree, it looks creepy. But there are scarier things, like a leech, for example. A leech's teeth are so tiny that they're hard to distinguish even under a microscope, but you can clearly see the jaws. There's one upper and two lower sides. Each has 70 to 100 chitinous teeth, with which a leech saws the skin to get to the blood. Not surprisingly, its bite leaves a mark like the Mercedes emblem. It looks kind of unpleasant, and it doesn't sound very nice either. Yet, many people voluntarily allow leeches to bite them. Firstly, these little vampires lower blood pressure, and secondly, their saliva contains hirudin, which reduces blood clotting. Also very useful if you need to treat, for example, angina or venous thrombosis. In the past, leeches were considered one of the best medical means due to their diligence in pumping diseased blood from the body. They've been used by doctors for thousands of years, but with the advent of more conventional medicine, by the late 18th century, they were forgotten. You may think that leeches are something incredibly old school from the Middle Ages, and you're partly right, but even such an ancient method can sometimes help. Leeches may well be useful today. In 2016, veterinarians saved the paw of a cat named Amy, who was suffering from circulation problems, and it was the leeches that helped. They sucked out the cold blood and restored circulation. All in all, just a perfect story, a cute kitty, and a happy ending.
All right, buddy, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it.
But you probably understand yourself that you shouldn't use leeches on your own. This is not the kind of weird medicine that's suitable for home conditions. In short, trust the leeching professionals. Here, along the coast of Florida, you can not only practice scuba diving, but you can order pizza right to the bottom.
Wow! All right!
Now, to deliver the pizza, the delivery boy has to wear a special suit and place the pizza in a special waterproof box. This service is available at the unique underwater Jules Undersea Lodge, located at a depth of 9 meters. It used to be a research station, then it was completely re-equipped for comfortable living. You don't have to be a professional diver to get to the hotel, but you do have to dive, and if you think this is too weird for a vacation, here's a fact. They say the hotel has had over 10,000 guests in its 30 years of existence. That's probably several dozen times less than the number of visitors who've passed through Magnetic Hill in Canada. It's a hill in the Canadian province of New Brunswick where very unusual things happen. If you park your car at the foot of it and put it in neutral, the car starts rolling up the hill.
Holy smokes. No reverse lights. Look at it go. I'm stuck here. He's getting pulled away. I'm stuck here at Magnetic Hill.
Going uphill without any human intervention? Denying the laws of physics? How's this even possible? Many people see this phenomenon as evidence of an extremely powerful magnetic field. So powerful, in fact, that cars move up the hill at over 30 kilometers an hour. That makes sense. Imagine Magneto hiding in the bushes and moving the cars in the opposite direction of common sense just for fun. Sorry, but real life is much more boring. The action of Magnetic Hill is explained through a simple optical illusion. The most important factor in its creation is the total or partial lack of visibility of the horizon. Without the horizon, it's very difficult to judge the slope of the surface, which is why objects seem to behave unnaturally. You can see the optical illusion of Magnetic Hill at any time of the year and in almost any weather, except perhaps in heavy fog. But another unique phenomenon is found only in winter and only in cold climates. From time to time, one can see ice circles in nature resembling either the actions of aliens or some kind of magic. They appear in rivers with a slow current and are smooth, unhurriedly rotating structures, perfectly round, icy, huge. The phenomenon is thought to arise from the swirling current of the river. A piece of ice is caught in such a current, begins to rotate and gradually shrinks its edges until it becomes a circle. Of course, this doesn't happen all the time, so ice circles are considered rare. They're most often found in Scandinavia and North America, although a couple of English, German, and Russian ones are also known. Of course, it'd be nice if the water in the river where the ice circle may appear was clean. But one of the most polluted places on the planet is something that's called the ship graveyard in Bangladesh. It's believed that more than 200 ships have found their final resting place here, and they provide jobs for local residents. Over 90% of the materials and equipment used on the dying ships are given a second life. So you'd think recycling would be cool, but the working conditions aren't what you would call pleasant. Not only are many of the materials toxic, but the risk of dying during a ship recycle is too great due to cheap labor and almost no control. Not surprisingly, this leads to unfortunate consequences, and not to mention the harm to nature, with ships dying right on the beach, making the environmental situation simply catastrophic. Old ships keep ending up in the graveyard, slowly dying, just as airplanes crash every now and then at one of the most dangerous airports in the world, Lucla Airport. It's located in the Nepalese town of the same name in the Everest region. This city is called the gateway to the Himalayas, and it's so small that there aren't even roads suitable for road traffic. But there is an airport which was paved only in 2001, though it didn't make it any less deadly. The runway has a length of only 527 meters and a slope of almost 12 degrees. It also begins with a cliff and ends with a precipice 700 meters deep into an abyss. The airport is often closed because of strong winds or thick clouds. Only the most experienced pilots are allowed to land here. They simply have no margin for error. An airplane that doesn't take off before the end of the runway is doomed to crash. The same goes for landing because of the mountainous terrain. It's simply impossible to make a second circle and try again, and yet planes land at Lucla Airport. A completely different situation is the island of Hashima. It's located 15 kilometers from Nagasaki City and has been considered abandoned since 1974. It's a perfect setting for a movie about the post-apocalypse, a world with no people left. Hashima is decaying more and more every day, and once it was considered a serious industrial center. The island was settled in 1810 when coal was found there. Initially, it was just not a very large rock in the sea. Everything else was poured artificially. When the mines were dug for 50 years, the island was one of the most densely populated places on Earth. The 6.3 hectares of Hashima were home to 5,259 people. That's an unreal number for a mining island. When oil replaced coal in Japan in the 1960s, coal mines across the country began to close, and the mines of Hashima were no exception. For a long time, it remained abandoned, with visits to Hashima forbidden. It wasn't until 2009, 35 years after people left the island, that it was open to tourists. And yet, despite the tourist activity, Hashima still makes a creepy impression. It seems that some ghost or zombie or feral tourist is about to come around the corner. Okunoshima is just the opposite. They call it the island of rabbits, and it's absolutely deserved.
And another one.
There is a huge population of wild rabbits. Nowadays, their number exceeds 1,000. They are exceptionally wild animals, which are absolutely not afraid of humans. What's more, they adore tourists. And we understand these rabbits. I love the people who feed me too. Hunting rabbits here is categorically forbidden, and dogs and cats simply aren't allowed on the island. That said, no one knows how rabbits ended up on Okunoshima in the first place. According to the most popular version, they're the descendants of experimental animals which were used for experiments during the war here. Yes, at one time, Okunoshima was a secret place, and it wasn't even marked on maps. However, the military assures that there were no animals on the island. Some people think that a couple of the first rabbits were brought in by tourists or released by school children who happened to be there on a field trip. Whatever the case, the place turned into a rabbit paradise. Few people, lots of food, lots of opportunities for procreation, and that's what rabbits really love. In fact, I've heard of Rabbit Island more than once, but what I didn't realize was that the Windows 10 splash screen was made without the help of computer graphics. Well, almost. To create the standard wallpaper for this operating system, specialists from Microsoft used lasers, projectors, light filters, insulation for generating smoke, special software for animating static 2D images, plus a lot of people who dealt with just one single frame. It was somehow easier with Bliss. And while we're on the subject of technology, look at this. I found a tractor for you from Mad Max. Where's it going? Straight to Valhalla? Okay, really? It's just one of the weed control methods that's used extensively in agriculture. Yep, you got it right. Farmers just go over their crops with fire and burn off whatever excess is there. And you need to know a few secrets to avoid destroying your crops at the same time, or maybe just one, really. Smaller, more sensitive plants are more susceptible to heat than larger, more mature ones. So if your corn has already grown bigger than the weeds, it's in no danger. You can torch it. I was much more surprised by the way some trucks are unloaded.
So here's something cool that you never see.
Imagine if you were stuck in that cab. That's super cool.
I naively thought it was done by hand. Well, or with some robots, like the ones that work in Amazon warehouses. But in reality, it is much more interesting than that. So the truck drives onto a big platform and locks onto it. The driver gets out and presses a button on the nearest console. The platform under the truck slowly tilts and rises. As it does so, the cargo pours onto the large container behind it. Only a couple minutes pass and it's empty. That's it. It's done. It's as simple as possible, using gravity. But we can all agree that a truck that's lifted into the air is a sight to behold. We'll see you later.